Welcome to Pack 419's Fall Campout Overview. So the campground is located at the Santa Clara County Police Officers Association Campground, which is 24090 Deer Path Road in Saratoga. It's actually a very short drive from Laurelwood Elementary, roughly 25 minutes. This means that if you end up having a problem or you need to leave the campground, it's not a long drive to get back to civilization. One thing though is it is a little uncivilized by the fact that really there's very little cell signal and the GPS may not work as you end up getting closer to the campground. We're going to post some signs. There will be Pack 419 signs that you should be able to spot to be able to make the proper turns to get to the campground. So driving into the campground, the road into the campground is a one-way gravel road and there's really no turnouts. So that can make it a little bit challenging. On Friday and Saturday, cars will be coming up, so really don't drive down on Friday and Saturday because you're going to end up running into cars that are coming up. Saturday night and Sunday, all the cars will be coming down as people return, so that's the direction of most of the traffic. One thing to remember is that the downhill driver, if you're facing downhill, you have to yield and you have to back up the mountain. At the campsite, we're going to have somebody guide you to parking. We figure there's not a lot of parking, and so having somebody coordinate this is important. In most cases, you will be blocked in. If you do need to leave early, make sure that you let that person know that you're going to need to leave early, and they'll park you in an appropriate spot so that you can leave early. When you unload, don't block the road. There's really a short road that is used for many different things, and it ends up making it so that we end up having a block of cars that end up creating problems. So don't block the road when you're unloading. Also, back in if possible. If you're going to be leaving later in the evening, backing around and turning around after dark can be pretty challenging. Another thing is that adds to the challenge is use extreme caution by the fact that this road, a lot of kids are going to be crossing the road from one side to the other because there's a lot of activities on both sides of the roads. Also, we restrict driving that you cannot be on the road during meal times or the night hike because we tend to line up on the road, and having kids lined up and people trying to drive tends to be a bad combination. So again, if you plan on staying the entire time, coordinate having your car blocked in by somebody you know. That way there's coordination of that. Okay, so what's at the campground? Well, the great thing about the campground is there's bathrooms with flush toilets and showers. We have a playground, we have hiking trails, we have a fire pit. There's a lot of fun things to end up playing with. There's a creek as well to be able to do a little bit of water play. So it's all an incredible environment to have a lot of fun. Also at the campground that's not as much fun is poison oak. So poison oak can look, depending upon the time of year, it can be green, it can be red, and it can be any shades between those two, but effectively leaves of 3, let it be. So be on the lookout for this because it does exist up there in certain spots. It's not incredibly prevalent, but it is in a spot where if it's hidden and you just touch it, you might end up being scratchy for a while. Things that are not at the campground. Again, as I mentioned, there's very poor cell service. You might have to wander around a bit to actually find even one bar or drive down the mountain to find any sort of cell coverage. There's no store, there's no electricity, so plan accordingly. So what should you bring? So each family, they should bring a family tent for the family to sleep in. You should have sleeping bags for each person, pillows, mattress pads, because the ground can be pretty tough. You want something between you and the ground, not only for insulation purposes, but also just for comfort. You should bring a gallon of drinking water so that your family has drinking water. The water that's up there, it is potable. You can drink it. It just tastes a little bit funny. And so most people prefer to just bring a gallon of drinking water. You can choose to bring a blanket for stargazing, and then optionally folding camp chairs. One thing to recognize though is that These types of sleeping bags are really for in-house sleepovers for kids. They're not really an outdoor rated sleeping bag. Your kids are going to be chattering their teeth and really cold in these types of sleeping bags, even if it gets down to just 55 degrees. That's cold enough where these types of sleeping bags aren't going to provide a lot of comfort or insulation. Personal items, you should bring your toiletries, any medications. We recommend everyone bring a mug for coffee or hot cocoa. That way we don't have to end up using paper cups. Personal hand sanitizer, bug repellent, and also for scouts, they should bring their 6 essentials. As a reminder, the 6 essentials is a first aid kit, personal first aid kit, a water bottle filled, flashlight with batteries, trail food, sunscreen, and a whistle. Things to not bring, generally electronics. This really should be a screen-free weekend. Obviously, people still have your cell phones, and I recommend putting them on airplane mode because the cell coverage is so weak, they're just going to drain your battery away. But you can obviously have your cell phones for pictures because it's a great time to collect those pictures. Really, no alcohol or tobacco products, and propane lanterns are generally frowned upon because it's such a large fire danger up there. LEDs far better anyway, they last longer. So in the site, there's a lot of drought and fire restrictions, so we really don't want open flames. So it kind of means that the propane lanterns we want to frown upon and tobacco products frown upon. What to wear? So generally, layers. T-shirts are fantastic. Also have a sweater or a coat, something that you can end up adding for the evenings or for the early mornings when it's a bit chilly. Shorts, possibly also pants, depending upon the temperature. You want sneakers and boots with socks, so something that ends up having good traction. Generally, Crocs are not too good because you don't have good traction and your foot can slip right out of the Croc, and that kind of doesn't work as well. So avoid Crocs or sandals. So you really want either sneakers or boots, something that's lace up. You will want a hat. Most of the area is partial coverage, so there's sun in some areas and shade in others, but a hat is a really good way of just getting additional sun protection. And then for the meeting, the pack meeting that we have, you're going to want a Class A shirt. You don't have to have the pants if you don't want to, but really we ought to have our Class A shirt. And if you want to go all the way to end up having your necker, slide, and hat, that's fantastic. So what is the pack going to provide? So the pack is going to provide meals. So we'll provide omnivore meals, vegetarian and vegan meals. Make sure you make your selection when you register. And we're going to be serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the Saturday, and then just breakfast on Sunday. We also will provide some snacks, and we're also going to have a lot of activities. So additionally, during this, we're going to be enlisting parents to help with additional tasks to help make the camp run smoothly. Really, parental involvement is really what scouting is all about, is setting the example for your kid of providing that leadership, providing that guidance, and that really has to be an active activity. After it gets dark, you want to end up keeping tabs on your kids because it's really difficult to find folks when it gets dark. We do have some things that will help. So first of all, you want to bring your flashlight and make sure each person has their own flashlight. But we're going to be providing various things that might help. For example, we might end up getting glow sticks, and so that can end up helping as well. But keep your kids with you after it gets dark because it's hard to end up locating folks after dark. Walking sticks, if kids want to end up having walking sticks, that's perfectly fine, but really no sword fighting. Sword fighting kind of leads down a path where you end up having injuries at a certain point, and we figure we're just trying to avoid all of that. And then the other thing is that if you do want to stay with us for an extra night, I gotta say, most folks tend to arrive early, or actually in the morning of Saturday, but you can end up joining us Friday evening after 5 p.m. and end up staying 2 nights if you prefer. Okay, things that you need to do to join us. make sure that you're registered and you've paid your BSA and also PAC 419 dues. You can't go on the campout unless you've done both of these things, and that's really due to insurance requirements. So make sure that those are taken care of. Secondly, all of the scouts, if a scout wants to go camping, they can go camping for free. That's part of their paid dues. But if you, as a parent, want to go, then we need to have the non-scout fee paid. If you have siblings that want to go, we need to have that paid as well, just for covering food. The other thing we need is we need a completed BSA informed medical consent form for each scout. So if you can fill the form out, print it, and then hand it to the Cub Master when you arrive to the campout, that's going to cover that base nicely. And then the last thing we need you to make sure you do is complete the campout registration form. This is going to ask for information about what type of dietary requirements you have, when you plan on arriving, and collect information to make sure that we can run the campout as smoothly as possible. If you have any questions, just email pac0419@gmail.com and we'll answer those questions promptly. See you there.